I gotta get started. I gotta do the show. I'm running a little bit late, as it were, and sorry, my hair is so it's so down today. It's just so down today. I was just what happens sometimes, like when I'm like ponytail, because I got to be able to move fast, turn my head quickly without a delay. But not today. Hi everybody, welcome to the show. It's Hal Sparks, Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. That's right. We're dealing with illegal aliens, apparently. Look, you got to say them how you got to say them, because the Democrats have shut down the government for
free health care for illegal.
Yeah, so they can't say it, but that's what they're doing. I'm just saying. So lots going on to cover today, but I do have some breaking news that I want to cover right out of the gate. I don't know if you've seen this. It's kind of incredible. You got to give Trump credit where credit is due. Promises made, promises kept, right? They're going after not just the anti-far losership. They're going after the rank and file. They're going after the leadership as well. And this is it. No more giving them a free pass, okay? Sorry, lefties. Sorry, radical left. Sorry, radical left. Let me make sure my screens work fine. Yes, Antifa leader convicted. Boom, kapow, with Andy No. Video, Antifa leader convicted. A leader of the Antifa, the counter-revolutionary army that is planning to make us all wear Mao uniforms and transgender for everyone, we have breached the inner circle, and they've finally arrested someone. The Antifa leader has been arrested and charged a year ago. Sorry. I'm sorry to do that to you. I just, when Joe Biden was president, it wasn't. Everybody's like, that was quick. No, it was quicker. It was so quick it traveled back in time to a period when Donald Trump wasn't even president. Or was he? Promises made, promises kept. That's right. Thanks, Joe Biden. I had to break that to you because I saw this come up in my feed, and then I literally laughed out loud when I read premiered September 13th, 2024. God, I do the timing and the math and the you guys know I have a short memory and a long everything else. But in this particular case, I was like, who was president in 2024? I've been racking my brain all day. Just thought I'd give you that little nugget. Hi, chat room. Welcome to the show. It's Hal Sparks, Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. You can send me a little gift if you like. Just buy me a cup of coffee, support the show in that way. I don't have ads, so I can't run ads. I can't just go, by the way, tickle powder, I take it every day, even though I've never tasted it, and it makes me feel better every morning. I'm not doing that shit, and I'm not selling you sheets or I don't know, what's Hassan selling right now, the electric cattle prods for your house pets. I'm not doing it. Hal, I would love for you to do a show on Sundays too. Oh, well, Tayson, come on, man. I have one day off. And even that day, I spend a lot of it, like, studying. Honestly, like, catching up on stuff. Thank you. I'm glad you liked the shirt. I wore it this morning. I wore it all day, I guess. I'm not one of these people who like 5 t-shirts a day. I'm not that stanky yet. Yes. Today's episode brought to you by Friend Banvazablo. Safeguard to the who's at home. Horse paste that tastes like green apples, but you're not going to taste it because our recommended dose is ram it up your boob shoot. Cornhole.
Moon River.
That's right. Moon River brand Safeguard Fenbendazole. That's right. Tried and tested by Joe Rogan.
You using the whole fist, Doc?
A man who thought it helped with COVID. Turns out he just had parasites.
Drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar.
That's right. Safeguard fenbendazole for your. Whoops. It cures what ails you. It'll purr your teeth and curl your hair and give you tongue a sleigh ride. That's right. Safeguard. Actually, there's no. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we've got the big breaking news out of the way. Obviously, lots of other stuff. Now there are a couple of things. Some folks got upset with me. So yesterday, because I pointed out the fact that Katie Porter treated her staff like shit, and I can't hang with that. Sorry. I got very few red flags that will make me totally rethink support for someone. That's one of them. Just saying. So as an effort to both peacemake and to have a, I don't know, I have a like a bumper piece of music for That's Not How It Works.
That's not how it works.
That's right. You don't treat your staff like shit when you're on our side of the aisle. That's right. So for those that were upset with me for that, I'm going to show you how you do answer tough questions when they're put to you, just like they're put to everybody else, starring everybody's favorite savior that won't really change much federally, but everybody seems to be clinging to it as a lovely, lovely. This is, I don't know who that guy is. I'm really kept up on things, but this is Zohran Mamdani, and he was on Morning Joe this morning, and they asked him a bunch of similar questions. No shit. Yeah. And they asked him all about being a raging commie Muslim, I don't know, anti-capitalist or whatever. And he answered the questions, go figure, with aplomb, clarity, smarts, right? There's no nut warning because the C is covering it up, although I think that's kind of I think the N should cover it up, but that's just me. So check this out just for a second. I'll just give you a little slice of this. So if you haven't seen the segment, you can watch it. He was on this morning.
Joining us now, the Democratic nominee in the New York City mayoral race,
so
Zohran Mamdani.
We were talking about important things, Mika.
No,
I found out. Lemire gave me this information.
Lemire is.
I found out he is a commie after all.
Yeah.
He's an Arsenal fan.
I know. That was tough.
Seriously,
And,
guilty on the
and
Arsenal.
Metsy-ish.
Yeah.
The Mets are cool.
Mets are fine.
That's what we like.
As long as it's not the Yankees. Right?
No, then it's worse than a commie, right? So anyway, thank you.
By the way, can I say for the record, New Yorkers, you have two teams. You don't get to be an asshole for liking one over the other. It's just weird. Same thing with like the Cubs and the White Sox. Like, simmer the fuck down. It's okay to like your home teams, whatever they are, and then not like the other teams. It's silly, but I understand it at least. This whole idea of like dividing your city up, like you're mad at one team because you can't go to both games. You're silly people. Stop being silly, okay? And I don't mean the fun kind of silly. Honestly. I mean the ridiculous kind of silly.
For being with us. We've got a lot of questions to ask you. I just want to ask them generally. Always ask this question of people that are out campaigning. It's old politician in me, you know. I always found you knock on doors. It takes you about 3 doors to figure out what people are talking about. What are you hearing people talking about more than anything else? When you see them, even people that aren't supporting you, what are they concerned about?
Cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. I've been hearing this since we launched the campaign last October, which is the fact that New York City has become the most expensive city in the United States of America. And I'm hearing from New Yorkers that they can't afford their rent, they can't afford their child care, their groceries, even $2.90 to ride.
We can't afford to eat. We can't afford to sleep. our pets' heads are falling off.
What do you think you can do about it?
Well, what they see is the fact that the mayor has the power to determine whether rents will rise for more than 2 million New Yorkers who live in rent-stabilized apartments. This mayor increased the rent on those New Yorkers by more than 12%. I've said I would freeze it for 4 years. They also know that childcare after housing is the highest cost for a family in this city. And the previous administration, Bill de Blasio, delivered universal pre-K. This admin has just sat and watched as it's pricing people out. We are going to actually deliver universal child care.
And how much child care through what age?
6 weeks to 5 years.
Okay, and how much do you estimate that'll cost?
We've seen estimates of around $6 billion or so.
$6 billion. Okay, and so here's the question. I'm a small C conservative, a small government conservative. I believe.
So here's how. This is no more a hard-hitting question than what Katie Porter got. Just for the record, this is ballpark the same kind of zone. He's teeing it up.
Billionaires should pay their fair share. I also understand.
I would reach across and shake your hand, but it's a big table.
It's a big table, but I also understand there's a delicate balance there. You can't tax billionaires here so much, and you can't tax companies here so much that decide they're going to go to Connecticut or Texas or Florida. So how do you, while people are shouting and screaming that you're a socialist, how do you balance those two competing interests? You got to keep the businesses here. At the same time, you got to fund these programs.
You know, I think one of the first ways is that you think about your fiscal policy and how it'll actually impact these kinds of corporations. So the proposal we've put forward is to raise the state's top corporate tax rate to match that of New Jersey. And now what you're bringing up is, what if that company leaves? Now, what we see is with corporate taxes here in New York State, they apply to any business that's doing business here. You could be headquartered in Orlando.
Right.
As long as you're doing business here, you're subject to that tax. And companies are going to keep doing business here because of the fact that it's one of the largest economies.
What about the individual taxpayer?
So what we're talking about is raising taxes on the top 1% of New Yorkers. They make $1 million or more a year by 2%. And what we've seen is that actually the top 1%, they leave at 1/4 the rate of other tax brackets in New York City. And one of the actual...
Which, by the way, I think you should point out that the reason that they leave less than people in the lower tax brackets is because the people in the lower tax brackets leave because they can't afford it anymore. I mean, it is New York, after all.
Determining factors is quality of life. And this is at the heart of our vision for government, is to deliver the best quality of life in this country. That every New Yorker knows that for any dollar they're taxed, it's getting an ROI that they have not yet seen in this city. One that is going to transform what it means to be safe, what it means to live in a city that's clean, and also what it means to live in a city that takes care of your basic needs.
So here's what I found about New Yorkers, and even liberal New Yorkers. I found this through the years. They like to talk about how liberal and how progressive they are, but if quality of life issues start slipping, they suddenly become very Republican, and they become very conservative. So
that would be like how you got Bloomberg or something like that, or that lean that direction.
I think this is something Bill de Blasio, a progressive, even understands.
California, by the way, does the exact same thing. It's how you got Schwarzenegger, it's how you got Reagan, it's how you got Gray, like a couple others.
So crime fell to the lowest number. It's been, New York Times said, my God, we have to go back to the 1950s to even guess when it's been this safe in New York City. A lot of people are afraid if they elect you, you're going to take your eye off the ball on making New York a safer place.
So, okay, that would be a tough question. At least it's an adversarial question. I won't say it's tough, but it's like questioning how people perceive you, and a touchy issue with what would be the left flank of his supporters, right? It's one of those things where a candidate like him might feel boxed in on how they can answer.
You're going to be hostile towards the police. You're going to change the police commissioner. What do you tell those people who are concerned about safety, quality of life issues, homelessness, people that liberals don't think it's progressive for somebody who's mentally ill to be sleeping on a grate when it's 4 degrees below zero?
Let's be clear, it's not progressive for that. And quality of life actually has to be at the heart of any progressive politics. And public safety will be the cornerstone for delivering our affordability agenda. And what we've seen right now is...
So you're saying you're putting public safety
It is
as job number one.
It is a critical
Keeping
focus.
New Yorkers safe.
Absolutely.
Making sure that when kids walk to school, they can walk there safely. When they're in school,
I mean, within reason, it is New York after all.
you like cops.
Look, yes,
you like police officers.
Our police officers are going to be the ones we partner with to deliver public safety. And I just want to say a few things, which is that
Yeah, but Gray was a conservative Democrat, as opposed to any of the other ones. That was kind of the point I was making.
when you ask New Yorkers where do they feel least safe, they'll often tell you.
Also, Adrian and people who are, clamoring at Joe to shut up and not ask him these questions, this is how he clears this hurdle. He doesn't clear this hurdle unless he assuages these fears. It's a real thing. And it's crucial that he does. So again, sometimes you'll see, when right-wingers ask questions of our side, that people will get mad that they're asking dickish right-wing narrative questions. That's fine, because it should always be your ability. You should be able to surmount those problems, those questions. You should be able to take those questions in stride, answer them well, and he is.
When they're using public transit, they'll say, when I'm on the subway, when I'm in the train, I'll see a homelessness crisis, a mental health crisis, and we've asked cops to be responsible for these crises, whereas their jobs should really be focusing on serious crimes. And so our vision is allow officers to focus on shootings and murders and the serious crimes that we know New Yorkers are concerned about, and have a Department of Community Safety that deals with the mental health crisis, that deals with homelessness, that actually deploys dedicated teams of mental health outreach workers to the 100 subway stations with the highest rates of these incidents to take those New Yorkers out of the system of the subway and connect them with the services that they need. That's how we're going to deliver.
And if they stay in that subway, if it's the same person day in, day out in that subway, you will give them the authority to make sure they're taken out of the subway.
Yes, this is the focus of the Department of Community Safety, is to connect them with services. And if, after we exhaust each and every issue, involuntary confinement is there, but it should be a last resort of what we do.
So a defining theme for the next mayor will be the relationship with the White House and President Trump. And Trump and White House officials seem to be salivating at the idea of you winning. We've heard from the president saying, we can't have a socialist.
So you've got that in common with President Trump.
There you go. So what would there's threats to cut funding. There are threats to send in the National Guard, a la what we've seen in Chicago. If the White House tries to do those things and you're mayor, what's the response?
What we're already seeing is a White House that is engaging in the political persecution of its perceived enemies, right? We're seeing that whether we're talking about Attorney General Tish James, whether we're talking about others across this country. And what is so enraging for so many in this city is that Donald Trump ran on 3 promises. He ran on the punishment of his political enemies, he ran on easing the cost of living crisis, and he ran on engaging in a program of mass deportation. It's that second promise of the cost of living crisis that brought so many to his campaign, and yet he's unable and unwilling to deliver on that because he's beholden to the very billionaires that are profiting off of that crisis. So what he's doing is focusing entirely on this agenda of punishment and cruelty. And what I would do is to actually stand up for New Yorkers. And what I mean by that is you can see in this race right now, the other candidate that is running for mayor is Andrew Cuomo. He released a statement yesterday speaking about this indictment of Attorney General James. He couldn't even name her. He couldn't even name Donald Trump. And he couldn't do those things because he knows that his narrow path to City Hall is paved by the very billionaires who put Donald Trump back in the White House. And Donald Trump's getting a good return on his investment right now because he's seeing.
Now, I think that's a pivot to his opponent, not an actual direct answer to what his question was. I think it handles part of it.
A mayoral candidate, a former.
But he doesn't, so far, he takes a lot of time not addressing what if he sends troops,
governor,
which is the big scary
unwilling
part.
to lift a finger when we see this unprecedented attack, not just on our democracy, but on an attorney general whose only crime is standing up for the people of New York.
So the mayor of Chicago and the governor there have said they would not be supportive of sending the National Guard to help ICE agents with their actions in their city. And that what they got was the President Trump calling for their jailing. If he calls for the same thing here, using the Guard for ICE agents, what would you do from City Hall?
Yeah.
I would, first of all, agree with Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, who has made clear that there's no need to deploy the National Guard here in New York City, not for safety, not for security. We trust the NYPD to be in charge of delivering that very thing. And I don't even have to think about the hypothetical of what Donald Trump will call for from me, because he's already called for me to be deported. He's already called for me to be denaturalized. He's already called for me to be arrested. And these are the kinds of threats that we know we will have to walk through to defend the people of this city, and I'm prepared to do that.
Would you keep Commissioner Tisch?
I've said that I'm actively considering it, and the reason that I am is that I appreciate her swift and decisive action of uprooting corruption from the upper echelons of the PD, and also presiding over a historic drop in crime across the city.
There you go. Like, fairly simple. And my point in all that was, I think he did great. The rest of the interview is online if you want to watch it. And it's fairly tight. But he's direct. He answers the questions. He's a little political and you know, choosing to talk about what he wants to talk about in a couple of small spaces, which you have to do because you have a limited amount of time, and you don't just want to chase the laser pointer of whatever the host's questions are. If you have a message you're trying to get across, you got limited media availability, you're going to want to shoehorn those things in. How you do it matters as well. If you could do it, and you know, if you could do it naturally and organically to what you're talking about, or if it's ham-handed and shitty. So I thought it was very organic and well done. You know, the composure was there. Like, it seemed like there was no point where simply by being asked the questions that are the challenging questions that you would need to answer to win over the more uptight voters that you're having to that have these preconceived notions about you, or these things that Trump and his crowd want them to think about you. You have to address those things. You have to, you know, you got to hammer those nails in. And so there's nothing wrong with being asked those questions. You should actually, like, revel in them. You should actually take the go, thank you, I'm glad you asked me that, because, and even if it just means, you know, expounding on how your program ideas will benefit them, even if they don't like you. That they don't have to vote for me to feel the benefits of what I'm going to do, or I wouldn't do them. That kind of thing. And any politician who actually believes in what they're doing should have a fairly easy time expressing that. And like, so I gotta say, like, it's night and day, and I hope you guys can see that. And so I think he did great.